Could the Toon really be travelling to the Bernabeu next season? Miguel Almiron's having another Goal of the Month competition with himself. And is this team better than the Entertainers team? It's the last word, so stick around. Welcome back to Black and White Banter, Newcastle fans, and it's a very, very happy Black and White Banter. Of course it is. Every video is a happy video these days. If you are new to Black and White Banter, you've just stumbled across us out of the blue, make sure you drop down, give us one of these just to get us in that algorithm, get us into the Newcastle vortex so more people might see this video. Hit that subscribe button if you've liked this by the end of it, or if you just fancy subscribing anyway, hit it now. Hit it now. And if you haven't already, get us across all social media. Black and White Banter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok and Twitter. Content on there every single day to hopefully brighten up your day. So do it now. Do it now. And away from all that sort of stuff, what a weekend. I'm currently making this video on Tuesday, but to me, it feels like I've just left the stadium still because I am still on that much of a high. We are absolutely class. We really are. Everyone's saying it. I'm saying it. Pundits are saying it. Me nana's saying it. Me dad's saying it when I'm catching up with him on the phone. The guy in the corner shop saying it. And it's still so hard to get your head round. Casual chat with me dad yesterday, and he was telling us that he started going to bed earlier. I said, what, even when Newcastle play during the week? He says, no, son, I don't even stay up for that because I know they're going to win. Just things like that. You know, it's so strange. All me and my dad have ever talked about for most of my life is how Newcastle are struggling and how he's probably turning the match off or going to bed early because he hates watching it and he expects us to get battered. And it's just the little things. It's literally flicking onto YouTube and watching a Talk Sport podcast about, can Newcastle make the Champions League? Can Newcastle push the top six? Can we be playing European football next year? What it's just mind-blowing, and rightly so, rightly so. Every single positive word, I think, from a non-biased point of view, is worthy. I think we've got the best defence in the league. We've only lost one game this season to a very, very last-minute goal from the Scousers. Last minute being an understatement on that one. So we would be unbeaten if that 7 or 8 minutes of injury time hadn't been added on, which is just a little bit frustrating. And no one looks like they can beat us. Aston Villa got absolutely obliterated, like literally put through a grinder and chewed out into pieces at the other end in that second half. Brentford have been battered. Fulham have been battered. We took Man City all the way. We took Man United. We pushed them in Old Trafford. Took Liverpool all the way to injury time where we probably should have got something. There is not a team in the Premier League I fear at the moment. And it begs the question, my first point of this video today, can we actually make Champions League? Everybody keeps talking about it. I spoke to fans after the game on Saturday in my match vlog, which if you haven't already watched, it's just a bit further down. People were talking about it. And I think about it and I start laughing. I start laughing to myself. Newcastle United, the Newcastle we've known to be stirring and flirting with relegation year after year, could be pulled out of the Champions League hat next season with trips to your Bayern Munichs, your Real Madrids, your Ajaxes, all of these sorts of teams. I don't know. Can we do it? It's November and we've got a World Cup break. We probably is going to invest in January because I think our owners are spending more money than they planned on because things have improved and gone faster and better than what they planned in their projection for the football club. So I think there's a bit of if we just put a bit more money than we planned in, we could actually get European football 2 years earlier than what was part of our long-term vision. So I do expect us to invest in January, maybe bring in a central attacking midfielder, maybe bring in a winger. I don't know. Can we? Can we? I don't see our defence worsening. I've got no reason to think any of these players are going to get injuries. Touch wood, touch every type of wood that's in the room. Sven Botman, Fabian Schär, obviously he's had a couple of niggles here and there. Trippier's had injury problems here and there since he's joined us, but generally speaking, I don't think the quality of defending is going to drop off. That's only going to get stronger. I think when the same 4 players are playing in a back 4, that unit starts to build. They start to get to know each other's game better. And players like Sven Botman, who are new to the Premier League, he's only going to improve. Bruno's only going to improve. I don't know whether Almiron's going through a purple patch. I'll talk about him in a bit more detail in a second. Even if he is, then he's certainly improved as a player. And we may actually be looking to invest in a winger in January. I don't know. Callum Wilson, can he stay fit? And I think, as things stand now, and this is not me jumping the gun, I am just talking about what I have seen so far in, is it 14 matches played so far? So not even half the season gone. I think, yes, we could be around the Champions League spots. Not get Champions League, we could be around, a bit like the Pardew season in 11-12. Do I think we will get one? I think Callum Wilson has to stay fit. Isaac, I don't think, is an out-and-out forward. I look at his goal record when he was at Sociedad. Bilbao, Sociedad. Mine's gone blank on that one. But I look at his goal record previously before we signed him. I know how he talks about being involved in the play and dropping a little bit deeper. I don't think he's a Callum Wilson replacement. I think they are too different. He's not going to be poaching around the box. He's not very good with his head, despite him being tall as fuck. He's got like barely any headed goals in his career. I think Eddie Howe's brought him in, yes, to bring him in as a striker who maybe plays on the shoulder, but also utilise him in a team with Callum Wilson. I could be wrong on that. So I think Callum Wilson staying fit, the style of football we play, is very, very important to any of this Champions League talk. I think a couple of additions would be important, because I do think we are still maybe needing that bit of cutting edge from midfield. I think I'd like to see more goals coming from our central areas. I know Almiron is literally running away with goals week in, week out. It's pretty much a guaranteed thing. But I think Champions League might be a bit of a stretch come May, but I wouldn't rule us out based on what I've seen so far. And that's all we can talk about. But hey, look at this conversation I'm having on the last word in November. Champions League mags. Imagine checking into the Airbnbs, getting the Ryanair flights to the Bernabeu on a Tuesday night. Imagine the vlogs. Imagine the stories. Honestly, it's mind blown. But hey, let's reassess in January and see where we are. End of January once the fixtures recommence after the World Cup. And on the topic of goals from midfield, Miguel Almiron. I've already talked about him. I sound like a bit of a stuck record talking about Miguel Almiron, but the man at the moment is literally a goal-scoring machine. Like, goal of the month is his own competition. So I don't know whether goal of the month's already been on Match of the Day with Gary Lineker and the boys, but I'm pretty sure you've got to put the one in against Fulham, the first time volley, which was a crazy goal. You've got to put the one in against Everton when he pings it into the top corner past Pickford. You've got to put the one against Aston Villa, when again he pings it into the top corner with his left foot. You can argue the one against Tottenham, where he takes his man on like he's not even there and buries it, is also goal of the month worthy. So there's 4. How many entries is there? So this man can literally do no wrong at the moment. That goal of the month, by the end of the season, if he continues this, he's just going to have a TV stand of goal of the month awards to balance his telly on in the sitting room. And, you know, he won't have to go to IKEA with the missus. And I don't know whether this is a purple patch. I mean, we don't expect him to keep scoring worldies. But if he kept this form up, even 2 goals a month, 3 goals a month, we could be looking at a 15, 16, 17 goal midfielder. But whereas you go back 3 or 4 months ago, he was a player who most Newcastle fans, myself included, thought had no end product at all. Like, totally clueless in those final positions. And it's another player Eddie Howe's transformed, and he's helping us to where we are. He's becoming integral. Probably he's one of the first names on Eddie Howe's team sheet, as I think every player is. So long may the much transformed, much galvanised Miguel Almiron from the Jack Grealish comments. Is there a relation there? His missus shared a video about Jack Grealish's comments on her Instagram. So, you know, Mrs. Almiron's like giving it a bit of sass. So, I don't know. That will have hurt him. He didn't come out and talk about it, which I like. He let everyone else do the talking. He's done the talking on the football pitch. I would be riled up by a fellow professional saying something like that. I would. And if that has worked, then, my God, I think the most significant thing in Jack Grealish's career so far, of any note, is spurring Miguel Almiron on to become the player that he is. So, fair play, Jack. Hats off to you. Keep those comments coming. Maybe it's just one a year. Give him another comment at the end of the year once you've had a few too many beers in Vegas. And final topic of the last word today is the Keegan days. Now, the gentleman I sit next to at the match, lovely fella, sat with him next to him for years. He's much older than me. If you're watching this and that's not seen as an insult, it's just kind of fact. He is a lot older than me. I wasn't old enough to remember the Keegan entertainer team. I was just starting to grow up then. I was about 5, 6 when Keegan was in charge in the Premier League. And I know it was incredible. I've watched every single season review. I've watched every single match from start to finish. I actually used to have the Liverpool 4-3 game on a video, VHS. Remember them, VHS? You pop it in, the wheels on. Most young people watching this video won't know what that is. But I've seen all the matches. I can't talk about what it was like to be a part of that or to be in St James's Park experiencing the atmosphere. But the gentleman to my right said that he felt what he felt in the city, the stadium, the things he was watching on the football pitch felt like the Keegan days but with a better defence. And that's a big statement. So I left the stadium and caught up with another guy, just happened to bang into another guy that I know, and I told him what he'd said and he agreed. So I don't know. Keegan's team was obviously not known for defending. It was a case of we will score more than the other team because we are that good going forward. The defenders were massively encouraged to get forward as well. It wasn't Keegan's philosophy to defend. It really wasn't, and that's why the name was the Entertainers. Our team's defence defends. We defend like a brick wall. So yes, I would probably agree, comparing the two teams, this is a better defence. Is it the same as that era though? I mean, I personally think compared to what was going on with Kevin Keegan at the time and how things just went mad and how they just suddenly surged for that Premier League title, this is a bit of a slower burner than that, but it's also got a lot more longevity to it. So, you know, the one of the owners has come out this week and talked about wanting to turn this £350 million team into a 3.5 billion team, buy teams in Europe that would be our feeder clubs that we can send some of our academy to. And they want to build something. And going back to the start of this video, I feel like the money is going to get pumped faster because we've come on faster. And I don't know, is this like the Keegan era but better?
You, honestly,
it's very early days to say that because that's one of the most iconic teams, and strips, by the way. That brown nail top will never be matched. But I've got blokes telling me that it is. I've never experienced an atmosphere like it in St James's Park. I've never seen a unity on the pitch like it. I've never seen a level of pressing like it. I've never seen a defence like it as a whole. So in my lifetime, without a doubt, I feel like I'm seeing something special. But is it better than that Keegan era? I think only time will tell. If we get European football this year and we build from there next summer, because I think the money will get well and truly splashed next year if we secure a European place of any kind. I think it could. And again, I love the fact that I'm talking about this on a video. Is what we're currently seeing better than one of our best eras in the Premier League? Let us know in the comments, Newcastle fans. All the topics, Almiron, Champions League football, is it better than the Keegan days? Let me know in the comments. I want to know. I will answer questions in the comments on my next videos if you'd prefer to drop me a question. And if you haven't already, Newcastle fans, drop us one of these. It goes a long way. And click that subscribe button. It means a lot. If you've stayed this long into the video, hit the subscribe. Get us across all social media. Enjoy the rest of your week. We go into Southampton next Sunday with absolutely nothing to fear. Massively the favourites. I'm expecting a win. I don't like to say the word expecting, but I'm very, very confident. So I'll see you on the next video, which will probably be a Southampton match preview. And hey, enjoy your week again, Newcastle fans, because right now what we are witnessing is an absolute dream, and long may that continue. How are you, the lads?